art of wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's personal journal. It's an entryway into the minds and souls, the hearts and lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I'm your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I'm a farm liver. I'm a tent sleeper. I'm a lecturer. I'm also a very picky eater, and some people are not happy about that. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am sitting here live in my studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Before we go any further, this is fan supported and listener supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, tweet it out, Snapchat it out. The best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, the Wrestling Road Diaries 3, Micro Brawlers. Brand new keychains have come in from Mexico, and I'm shipping them out to you. Purchase what you gotta. ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. That's right, I gave a lecture at the Do Lecture. Some of you guys saw that in my Instagram feed, maybe my Instagram stories, maybe my Twitter, you know, the huge. I don't put much on Facebook. I just kind of promote on Facebook. I guess I kind of promote on everything, but I'm not really sucked into that Facebook world that some people are. I like looking at the feed. That's where I'm getting my news. That's where I'm getting my stories. That's where I'm seeing those viral videos. Viral hog. That's a thing. You got to laugh at that name. I wish my hog was viral. Maybe I don't. I mean, if it was so awesome that the world needed to know, then yeah, sure. We all wish our hogs were viral. But I guess Twitter and Instagram is what I'm sticking to for the moment. I gave a lecture in a barn. I told you I didn't know what I was getting myself into. When I got there, I don't think I did know what I was getting myself into, but I played along. I was there. Here's the one thing I noticed. Okay, I guess I'll try to explain what it was. It was people from all over the world that were invited to speak about something that maybe inspired people or stuff they could do to help people be better in their life, I guess. 1,000 people submitted to be invited to this thing. Only 80 people were allowed to come. There were 15 lecturers. I was one of the lecturers. It was, I would say it was hippies meet hipsters meet people with a lot of money. And I don't know where I fall in that Venn diagram, but I went on first. I said my story for 20 minutes. I told the story of how one person loves wrestling, how they try to live their dream. They get hired by the WWE, they get fired, and then you assume your career is over. But then you prosper into the world of podcasting and documentary movie making and comedy and all that fun stuff. And then your life rules. And maybe that story can help people outside of my world. Because, I mean, you guys know my story by now. But I'm pretty sure every single person there knew nothing about wrestling. And they were so blown away, just not even by my story, but by the fact that I was a wrestler. And they're like, when would I have ever met a wrestler? And I guess it's fun to take the wrestler out of context, put him somewhere else, and then watch people, I guess, react to him, or me, in this case. Here's one thing I did take away from it. Everyone there was like, I've never met so many different people from so many different places and walks of life. And that's what it was. I mean, it was all these people from all over the world. There's a guy who made chairs. There was a girl who just traveled with people for her life. There's a set designer girl. There was a dad who made a podcast with his 2 children. The guy who invented Giphy was there. The guy who invented FanDuel was there. Anyways, they were like, I've never met so many different people. But I was like, hey, I'm in wrestling, and I meet all these crazy different people from all walks of life all the time. It's nothing new to me. Like, yeah, these guys' speeches were very inspiring, and some of them were great, and some of them were shit. But what I took away from it was like, oh, man, it is pretty amazing that each week when I talk to somebody, I'm talking to somebody from a totally different way of life. Even DJZ, Zima Ion today, like the idea that his mom was a mail order bride, moving to Mexico. He tells this story about going to Japan, just getting it done. This crazy story in Mexico that he'll tell. I mean, it was just all walks of life, and it's nothing new to me. And I think that's so cool because I was a suburban kid from the suburbs of Chicago. Everybody around me growing up was basically the same. We were all kind of the same people, cookie cutter, suburban Chicago. And I've had this thrilling life of just so many different people from so many different worlds. And this is weird, whenever I think this, the first person that always comes up to my mind is Necro Butcher. I'm always like, yeah, I'm friends with Necro Butcher. He's the first one I go to when I think of like the total opposite of my life. Who's the opposite person of me? That would be the Necro Butcher. And it makes sense. So DJZ, still far. I mean, he's no Necro Butcher, but he's still far in the spectrum of people's lives. Weirdness compared to me, or differences compared to me. And we talk about it. Besides doing these lectures at the New Lectures, I also set up 2 shows, Newport and Cardiff. We did comedy together. Brendan Burns and I warming up for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this year. We had 2 warm-up shows, 2 great shows. Newport was a little weird. It was in a basement at a pizza place, and there was no door to the basement, so we were fighting against the upstairs noise and music. That was a little odd. But Cardiff was absolutely perfect. The Chapter Arts Center. You could tell there was all different types of plays and fun shows that were happening at this place. And ours was one of them. On YouTube, I put up a little promo we did with the crowd. You can go to my YouTube channel and check that out. I'll be putting it on my other platforms probably before the Fringe. But good to be around with Brendan. Good to be in the UK. And I am super excited for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this year. I'm also excited to bring you this talk with DJZ, DJ Zima Ion. And before we get to it, we will get into a song of the week, courtesy of DJZ, by the way. But we do have a sponsor. It's a brand new sponsor, and it's called Bombfell. DJZ and I talk about his fashion in this podcast, and he's got high fashion, believe me. But I'm starting to catch up thanks to Bombfell. I got new shorts. I got new shirts. I'm turning into a real summer boy. If you check out the pics of me giving that speech in Wales, khaki shorts courtesy of Bombfell, officially in my rotation now. Bombfell dressed me up good. And you know I hate shopping. You know that. Bombfell. No fees to work with. No monthly fees. No reoccurring fees. $0 to sign up. Just pay for the clothes that you want. Bombfell is an online personal styling service that helps men find the right clothes for them. Just fill out a questionnaire and then they give you a stylist, a real stylist. Mine, his name is Will, and I want to have him on the podcast one day if he ever becomes a professional wrestler. The stylist, mine is Will, of course. They pick stuff out. They send you options. You have 48 hours to make any changes, or you can cancel it if you don't even want it. And that's it. Just pay for the clothes you keep. And you can have them send you options every month, 2 months, or even 3 months. Start looking like a real dude without that lameness of having to go to the stores and getting super annoyed. I'm going to give you $25 off your first purchase. Bombfell.com/Colt. Free $25. And you're going to look good. Bombfell.com/Colt. All right, the song is not the one we talked about in this podcast coming up. It's a different one. This one is the Gangrel theme. DJZ put this together, and it's the only reason I'm playing it. This is called Yam. It's mixed by DJZ. It features Conway. Enjoy, and we'll be back with the man himself.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, we're also brought to you by Active 5. Summertime is here, baby. Everyone wants that summer bod, but it can be hard to find that time to work out. I get it. I'm on the road like crazy, and it's summer. I got stuff going on. Well, the folks at Active Body have a solution, and it's Active 5, and they sent me one. You know I've been using it. You send me something, I'm going to use it. It's a pocket-sized digital device that works with your smartphone to coach you through over 100 5-minute strength training workouts. It even measures your stats and progress, too. All Active 5 exercises are isometric based, which is right up my alley as a professional wrestler. Yeah, they're tough, but it's only 5 minutes, and it's effective. Hey, I used this on the plane, and no one was weirded out by it either. They have plane workouts, they have office workouts, and they also have many regular workouts, or what I like to call in my hotel room workouts. Check it out, and maybe Active 5 is for you. Active5.com, ACTIV, the number 5.com. If you enter the promo code COLT at checkout, they'll give you a free water bottle. Worth it. You got 5 minutes. Help fire up those muscles anytime, anywhere. Enter that code COLT at checkout, and join me over at ACTIV, the number 5.com.
I just came from a Dungeons and Dragons, a role-playing games podcast.
Oh, yeah?
You ever done that?
No, I've never even played Dungeons and Dragons.
Do you even want to start on that? I could start on that. I just came from a role-playing games podcast. And you've never done anything like that?
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Have you ever played a role-playing game?
No. I've role-played in other scenarios in my life.
Jesus, let's just jump right into it. I don't know. It's this thing. Podcasting is exploding, and so everyone, and not that they didn't before. Everyone and everybody has a podcast and different things and different scenarios. So it makes it fun, and you could, I don't know, I meet some people that I wouldn't have met, and now I'm doing the One Shot podcast. It was called. Give them a shout out. You have contemplated doing a podcast for, I'd say, 5 years now since I've talked to you.
Yeah, I have, but I don't know. I've just never pulled the trigger on it. I think because
is that a summary of? Is that not a summary? Is that something mainstay in your career? I haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, maybe, but there's just so many wrestling podcasts now that to devote another hour of someone's time to another wrestling podcast, because to me, they're going to listen to your podcast. They're going to listen to Jericho.
I don't know if they listen to my podcast anymore.
Come on. I listen every week.
Oh, I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah.
So, but what about DJing? That's not even real. Some people in wrestlers are like, I think so Brendan Burns, who I'm doing this Edinburgh show with, and he did stuff with Mick Foley, and he went on the road with him, and he's just, like Mick wanted to do non-wrestling material on his stand-up, and it's like, he's like, dude, you're a fucking wrestler.
Yeah.
So it's like when I hear, like, I don't know, here's an example, and this is no reason, I'm not shitting on anyone because I've never listened to it, but like, I don't know, Ken Anderson, I think, does a political podcast. It's like, what are you gonna? You have 8 million wrestling fans, and nobody knows you from the political world of anything.
Yeah, I absolutely know what you're saying. I had a similar problem with DJing and music. I would make a track, for example, and I'd be really proud of it, and I'd share it online hoping that it would get a lot of attention since I have a large amount of followers, and nobody gave a damn about it. But then I posted. I'm sorry. I posted a picture of me doing a moonsault. 200 likes.
Yeah. Did you think you were going to get traction into that world?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did a little bit. I DJ'd on Eminem's Shade 45 radio station. Young Jeezy was there.
That started out so good and ended up so bad. Like, I heard you DJ'd on Eminem's. I was like, wait, what? Radio station.
Sirius XM radio station, Shade 45. Like, I got to do some cool stuff in a short amount of time, but it was just becoming too difficult to juggle that and wrestling. And I was like kind of like losing focus on my wrestling career, and that should be the bread and butter, what I should be focused on primarily.
But as the grass is always greener, the wrestlers always want to be comedians, or they always want to be musicians, and and the musicians always want to be piano, I don't know, whatever, rock stars.
Yeah.
Or the comedians want to be rock stars. Everybody wants to be something else.
For sure. Do you ever
and
feel
Jericho wants to be everything.
Yeah, man. That guy, like, I was talking about him recently. I met him in December at the IWC show. First time I got to meet him, and I stopped and thought about it, and I'm like, dude, I wish, like, I was him, because he's got it all, man. Like, he's wrestled in every single wrestling promotion, kept a job for how many years, gets to be the lead singer of, like, a successful rock band, has a family, has a podcast. Like, dude.
He had, like, a Comedy Central show.
Yes. He was, like, Dancing with the Stars. Like,
game show host.
Right? Like, man, that dude is winning at life.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, not so much.
Oh, you poor guy. So what happened last time? What did we talk about? We talked about your mother was and this was
5 years ago, man.
5 years ago at a Lucha Vavoom show in a closet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Have you done much with Lucha Vavoom since then?
Yeah, I wrestled you at Lucha Vavoom.
That one time? Or
a different time, I believe.
Okay.
But
were you a chicken?
I was a chicken.
Yeah.
Actually, I've wrestled you twice at Lucha Vavoom. Once as a chicken and once as myself.
All right.
But it's fun, man. I wish I was on every Lucha Vavoom show. Man.
I'm going out there in October. I'm excited about it.
For early Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's on the bucket list for sure.
To do the Mayan Theater out there?
Mayan Theater, Halloween, some kind of crazy holiday Lucha Vavoom show. I want to do that. I want to do the Gathering of Juggalos. That's on the bucket list.
Not doing that this year.
Oh, man.
I think it's this weekend whenever this podcast comes out, actually.
Yeah.
They've scaled down, so you better jump in there.
Oh, man.
The budget has gone down because 4 years ago it was like Terry Funk, Roddy Piper, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Goldberg, and now absolutely nobody. That's your only... I did the Bamboozle... Were you on the Bamboozle Festival?
I wrestled you.
That's where we wrestled together. Yeah, and you didn't... That doesn't count?
It counts. Like, I just want to do, like... weird wrestling shows. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, what's the weirdest one you've done? Because you've been to Mexico, and I wouldn't say you lived in Mexico. Would you say you lived in Mexico?
Do you count like 3 months as living there?
Yep.
Okay, then
You lived in Mexico.
I lived in Mexico for a short period of time. Dude, I don't know. I've done a couple weird wrestling shows. I wrestled on a beach in Japan once in front of a beach crowd that did not care about wrestling at all.
Who was this for, and why was it done?
I got stranded in Japan for 21 days when I was like 23 years old because I'm an idiot. And
how do you get stranded in Japan for 20?
Oh, basically, I was booked on a show for Mackie. You know Mackie, right?
So Mackie owns a figure memorabilia shop.
Yes.
In Japan.
Yeah, he wanted to start running some shows, and his first show, he wanted to book me. It was a joint show with Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and got me a plane ticket. I'm going to go to Japan August 6th. For some reason, I never checked to see what day of the week August 6th was. I just assumed it was a Friday. I don't know. I just assumed that's like a typical like day that you'd fly out for a wrestling show. Yeah, it was on a Thursday, and I was just sitting in my house and realized this. Missed the flight, didn't know what to do. Panicked, of course.
You missed the flight going to Japan.
Yeah, like what kind of dickhead? Every pro
First
wrestler.
tour of Japan?
Oh no,
Okay.
Third. But every pro wrestler dreams of going to Japan. What kind of dickhead misses his flight to Japan?
Yeah.
This guy right here, of course. But I panicked and didn't know what to do. And in my mind, I'd built it up like, man, I'm going to get blackballed if I don't show up to this show. Word's going to travel.
For sure.
Super unreliable. Like, probably nobody outside of that show would have known about it. But I was so paranoid that I begged my mom to bail me out of the situation. And I'm like, Mom, please, I have to go to Japan by tomorrow.
You couldn't call the airline and just be like...
I tried.
And they were like, no.
Yeah, because I missed the flight, so I was like considered a no-show, and they would not put me on another flight.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I really screwed this one up. So I didn't know what to do. I ended up getting my mom to get me a one-way ticket to Japan that left the next morning, and she's like, "It's only one way. How are you going to get home?" Don't care. Just got to get to Japan. Got to make the show. And I made the show, and I was only supposed to be there for that one show. I was going to be there for 6 days total. I ended up in Japan for 21 days.
Just because what they were like, all right, we'll find out when the cheapest one
Yes,
home is.
exactly.
And it happened to be 21 days after.
Yeah, so I was just hanging out in Japan for 21 days, and I did some really weird wrestling shows over those 21 days, including this beach show for some random small indie. I wrestled in a bar, it's a pro wrestling themed bar. They had a 12-foot ring in the bar. So that was interesting just because, like, I mean, you can't really run the ropes or anything. It was a different experience, you know?
Yeah, I remember, it was funny, I was on this Australian tour with Jack Swagger, with a bunch of guys, with Jack Swagger, and we were talking about smallest rings that we've wrestled in, and I said, I think I've wrestled in a 12 in England.
Oh, yeah.
And Jack Swagger was just like, and I only say his name 5 times already, because he was just like, all he knows is WWE wrestling, and he's just like, wait, what? Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I think like they need to travel with it, and that was the only one that could fit in a van, so they made a 12er, and they stuffed it. They stuffed it in the van, and they took it around.
Yeah, and he's a big boy too, and like, I mean, so are you. You're not a small boy like me, so man, you in a 12-foot ring, like.
Yeah, but I think the difference between 5'8" and 6 foot and 6'4" or whatever, when you're in the difference between a 12-foot ring and a 20-foot ring.
Yeah,
I don't think it's really making much of a difference.
Touche.
Yeah, so you're big that time.
Yeah, those are probably the weirdest.
What'd you do in the 12-footer?
Comedy.
Yeah,
yeah. I had fun with it.
Do they expect real wrestling?
Yeah, some dudes went hard. Erie was on that show. He wrestled Taka Michinoku, and they had, a crazy Japanese match with false finishes and headbutts and stuff like that. Surprised me, but it was just weird because the crowd was all sitting at like tables, like dinner tables, eating their meals and watching wrestling. It wasn't like just chairs lined up. Totally different experience. So,
did you pay your mom back?
Maybe, I don't know.
Now, we were talking the other day, and you owed your mom money for something.
Well,
where's your mom getting all this money from?
Oh man, well, my mom did bail me out of some recent troubles that I had because the injury I suffered in Mexico, that's a long story, which we'll probably get to. But I ended up in a lot of credit card debt just because of the surgery, having to use my credit card to pay the bills in Mexico, and they would not let me leave the hospital until I paid the full balance. So got no choice. I had to use my credit card, but then this debt was so like high. My mom basically was like, "Listen, you're never going to get out of that credit card debt with your lifestyle. So I'd rather you be in debt to me than the credit card company and the interest. So let me like cover it, and I'll just like pay myself back every time you get a paycheck from Impact or whatever."
What's your lifestyle? I love the idea of like, she knows your lifestyle. Do you know what your lifestyle is?
Well, I think specifically she meant the wrestling lifestyle, just because it's hard for me anyway, the way that I'm going to like save money for the future. It's all very much like right now money, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it would be hard for me to like pay that large amount of credit card debt. And it's not like I'm the most frugal guy out there either. Like, I do like to have fun.
Right. Well, I was going to say, you've been making you had to be making some decent scratch.
Oh, yeah, there was a period for sure. It changed a little bit. I think we had talked about it at the time. Like, when TNA lost Spike TV, like, all of our contracts changed. The whole, like, situation there was different. We weren't getting, like, guaranteed money anymore. It was per appearance. So I found myself like back on the indies, like trying to hustle and make a name for myself again that way. So yeah, when we lost Spike TV and we stopped running house shows, that was a significant amount of money for me, and my lifestyle like changed right there, you know. Had to do things a little bit different. So yeah, you know, is what it is.
What do you spend your money on?
I'm
clothes.
Listen, I'm a lot better about it now. You
usually have the most ridiculous clothes I've ever seen. And that's not a rip or anything.
I don't know. You've ripped into me a couple times for my bizarre fashion choices.
All right. I mean, it wasn't meant to be a public rip.
But that's okay. Like, I know that.
But it's also a rip on myself, being like, I'm the most basic fucking dude when it comes to gear or whatever it is.
Oh man, I don't know. I've you know what? As I've gotten older, I'm a lot better about it. Priorities have changed. I've had to grow up a little bit and realize that, okay, I probably don't need to buy that ridiculous $300 sweater. I could use that money for, you know, bills.
But what's weird is that you don't have this. And it's a conversation. I hate that I'm dropping names or whatever. It's a conversation I had with Cody by himself too. It's just like, you don't have this mentality of like, we're a wrestler, we'll always be broke, so we don't spend all of our money. You have this mentality of, and like that, what Cody was saying was just like, I don't know, like he's like, my first paycheck, I was 21, so I was like a kid.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, those were my college years or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like, you don't have that mentality of, I don't know, like this'll end or I'll have to save, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, my obsessive, I mean, you know how my brain works.
Yeah.
We've talked enough about it, is that I'm just like, well, this'll end and I got to save. And, you know, I'm probably I'm wasting away my 20s and my 30s now, just putting money in the bank. But
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I think people that grew up poor, like I did, they get some money and they go in one of two directions. They either save money because they never want to be broke ever again, or they spend money a bit ridiculously because they never had money before that.
Do you know how to live broke? Is that why, like, you're like, if it goes, it's fine because I know how to live broke?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like, I feel like I've been broke like most of my adult life. Like college, I was like the broke college kid. You know what I'm saying? When you're an independent wrestler trying to make a name for yourself, like, yeah, you know, there's not much money in wrestling starting out. Impact, like, yeah, I had to learn a hard lesson. I didn't save my money because I thought, hey, my contract, like, I'll be making money like this for years to come. Then all of a sudden Spike TV pulls the plug and everything changes, and I'm kicking myself in the ass, feeling like a dummy. Damn, wish I would have saved my money, you know? But those are hard lessons that I learned, and I think that I've learned from them. So I'm a little more responsible with my money now. We're getting there. It's still a work in progress, but yeah, man, a lot better now than I was like 2 years ago when I was buying $2,000 custom suits and stuff like that.
Jesus.
I know.
For what? For life or for wrestling?
Dude, I don't know.
Where were you wearing these suits?
That's what my mom said. She's like, where are you going to wear that suit? Your funeral?
Jokes.
Right? And yeah, hey, with the way my life's been going, like, that funeral might be coming sooner than later.
God. All right, we'll get into that story. A couple of things I wanted to touch upon before we do is becoming the DJ and then becoming Lucha Man. So you got rid of DJ-ness and you really started diving into Lucha-ness.
Yeah.
Right? So, well, you became because I think that was after the podcast we did. You became a DJ.
Yes.
Yeah, and trying to become a real life DJ.
Yeah.
Even sending me a beat to play on the show.
But you never did.
Yeah, it was because it was weird. No offense.
No, it had nothing to do with wrestling.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with it, but it was the Michinoku Pro theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but
Maybe we'll play it on this one.
it could be the song of the week, guys.
You never know. I was going to say Kenny Dykstra could sit you down and give you a class on money management. If you want.
Man,
if we've learned anything from this podcast. So, all right. So you were you were just doing weird stuff in Impact Wrestling. You had like the short permed fro, very infamous. Did you perm your hair?
No, natural
perm,
all
beauty,
natural.
so beauty. And then you became a DJ.
Yeah, I was feeling one-dimensional at the time. I used to think that I had like a pretty interesting story, mothers and immigrants, not from this country, mail order bride, all that stuff, interesting, but like that's her story. That's not mine. Like my story is I was a dude trying to make it in wrestling, which that's everybody's story, And when
I do love about like that, like those CWC things, they're like, it's like, yeah, that's everybody. But like, they're like, I slept in my car, and well, like, yeah, right. But it's just everyone being like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's everyone's story. Trying to make it. Everyone's got the sorrow story. Unless you're John Cena, then it's all the same.
It's all the same struggles. Like they talk about getting, their ass kicked in wrestling school, paying their dues, long car trips, no money. It's like everybody's got the same story. And I realized, wow, I'm not that interesting at all. Like I have the same basic story as every other wrestler.
Which we learned on that TV show. What was that on the Learning Channel?
It was on National Geographic.
National Geographic special.
So I started feeling one-dimensional and thinking to myself, if I really want to like make a name in wrestling and make it to a WWE Impact, because I was still in the independents, like
but you were in Impact.
So I was in Impact when
you became a DJ.
But I had these thoughts for years. Like I needed some other angle to like make it in wrestling. And even after I got to Impact, like it's not like I was a featured wrestler right off the bat, Getting signed was not the hard part. It's staying booked on television, staying featured, and staying employed to me is like the real challenge. And when I did a tryout in 2009 for TNA, Ed Ferrara told me I needed to be a definitive character like the Human Tornado. Solid example.
So, and I was like, I even though I'm not like a pimp or a this or that, I was like, I know my character very well.
Yeah, of course.
But you're saying, I mean, I understood what he was saying, but I was kind of like, fuck off, dude. But I think those were kind of your thoughts of like, yes. I need to be a definitive something.
Yeah, or I need to have a different story. Like instead of just I'm a guy that's been trying to make it in wrestling forever. And I had to think about it, like what else am I passionate about in life? Because the only thing I've cared about for over half of my adult life now is professional wrestling. So like what else do I even enjoy? Music, the only other thing that I would say I'm remotely passionate about. So I was trying to think maybe something in music, and electronic dance music was just starting to become a thing here in the United States. A friend of mine in college was a successful DJ in New York City almost overnight.
What was his name?
Subset. He's a DJ in Seattle now, like actually making quite a name for himself in like the dubstep type world.
Did you have a move called? Were you going to have a move called the Subset Flip?
The Subset Flip, man, that would be his finishing move if he were to.
But you could do it as an homage to him,
maybe. But
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Colt. But I saw the success he was having, and I'm like, being a DJ, like, why didn't I think about that? Like, I could learn how to do that. It would be fun. Maybe I should try that. If this guy can make a name for himself like pretty quickly, then maybe I could get good at this, and who knows what could happen. And it's just another angle than, hey, I'm just a wrestler.
And it just so happened to work in that those bromans. I mean, did you just weasel your way into that thing?
Oh, I got so lucky with that, man. Yeah, so I was learning how to DJ for real, and the bromans won the tag team titles at Bound for Glory 2013, and they did like a celebration segment on Impact the next week, and they had a DJ in the segment, just some random dude. But after that segment, the writers said they liked the idea of the bromans having their own DJ. And Robbie E tells them, why don't we use Zima Ion? He's just sitting at home and he's a real DJ. They called me up and it all worked out.
You were just sitting at home at that time.
Yeah.
Did you think you were almost done?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Like, I wasn't sure. You know, I knew I needed to like figure something out, reinvent myself in some ways. And I would say that's become like a paranoia of mine, and why my look, my style, why I change so frequently, I think, over the years is because like I constantly have this paranoia to like keep things fresh and like change it up and reinvent myself as much as possible.
And that's the thing, like that I've noticed, and I don't know, and I'm not in your head, but I've noticed as just a friend looking from the outside, like in, right? Like you're always changing, always something new. That outfit you had in Pittsburgh was ridiculous.
Yeah, see, that's my new thing. That's what I'm changing for 2017. I looked at Impact. I'm injured right now, so you know I watch the show, try to see like where I might fit in, try to get some ideas going.
I was gonna make a joke about you might be the only one. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Stiff, but like they're signing so many X Division guys right now. You know, there's only 1-2 segments of the X Division every week on Impact, and obviously the champion's going to be in one of those segments each week. So I'm looking at like 10 to 12 new X Division guys on the roster, and I'm like, what am I going to do to like stand out and make sure that I'm going to be featured on the show every week? So I found that new costume that I got, and I'm like, you got to put that on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
look
that's
at
not
it.
even. So let's talk about that. But that's not even. And then that'll move nicely into this idea that you started training lucha in Chicago. Is that's just a change of an outfit, right? Like, how long does that even last you? I mean, I don't know. I've been doing the same fucking singlet and whatever for however long it's been.
Oh, sure.
So, but I have those same paranoias too, I guess. But I don't know. I guess I've reinvented myself with different ways. I think with different mediums and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. To change yourself up, it's more than an outfit, right? It's like kind of everything.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'll change up everything that I can, whether it's my hair, which is always changing. Like this year, we're doing braids. I'll change it visually. I'll come up with some new moves to bring to the ring. Like anything I can do to like stand out, I'm gonna try it. Like I never get comfortable in my persona, my wrestling style, the way that I play in matches.
To play the other side of the sword, though, do you think that could hurt you? Whereas you never really, right? Like if you have this one character, you can't really go deep because you're always changing that character. So there's not a lot of trial and error, right?
Yeah, I mean, you might be right about that. Yeah, I mean, you might be right, but I just get bored very easily. I think that's what it is too. So who knows, man? Like I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay. So you started training lucha in Chicago, which I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, that just kind of randomly happened.
And that was when you kind of stopped DJing because you said like I need to. Hey, I get paid pretty decently to wrestler. Why would I? Right?
Exactly.
Why would I scoot this to the side?
Dude, actually, it was a conversation with you around this period that like kind of got my head on straight again with everything. We did a road trip to Detroit for XICW, and I was venting to you.
Have you
about,
wrestled there since?
Nah.
Come on, XICW.
Yeah.
We're ready to take that trip together.
Yeah, let's do this, Malcolm. But yeah, you kind of like got my head on straight, and that's when I realized I need to like put my focus back into wrestling. I need to quit half-assing it. I remember you went out for intermission. We were the match right before intermission, and you went out there to sell merch, and you looked at me and judged me for not going out. And I was trying to justify it as, well, dude, I was the heel. Like, why would I go out there right now? And I lost. I'm trying to sell, the move. But it's like, no, dude, I should be going out there making money, trying to like, take advantage of that, especially now that
trying to pay your mom back.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I kind of realized like, dude, I got to like focus on wrestling again. And around that time, I realized that Galley, the Lucha Libre company here in Chicago, were running classes during the week, and Skyday, legendary.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Skyday, yeah, legendary mat-based wizard of Lucha Libre was running the classes, and I'm like, I think this is what I need. I need to go back to wrestling school in some ways, and
why is he just in Chicago?
He's a nomad. Like, I tell you what, he'll be in Chicago randomly for like 2 months, then he'll go to Los Angeles for a month, New York. He's all over the place.
And does he know people, or is it like, it's not like he gets an Airbnb?
Nah,
Does he live in a ring?
Man, he might. He crashes with different people. I don't really know his living situation, but that guy is a gypsy, like true definition of the word. But I started training with Skyday and Discovery, who was another old school luchador, randomly living here in Chicago, and being around those guys and how I guess motivating it was to be around them, because they'd call me out, you know what I'm saying, if I wasn't doing something right, or if I was like,
hey man, get out to the fucking merch table, bro.
Yeah, right.
Get out there, stuff down your stuff.
No, but they really pushed me, and it kind of got like some hunger back that I had lost maybe for a minute, and man, just like gave my wrestling career the shot of adrenaline that I think it needed.
Well, I mean, I saw it, like, especially in Cleveland at AOW, you'd bring all these lucha dudes, and you'd start being like in these like quote unquote lucha matches, but you're like, that's DJZ from Impact Wrestling. What's going on? Like, we're supposed to not know who these other lucha dudes are, and why do we know who this guy is? And then why is he also doing this stuff with that guy, those guys? Yeah,
I mean, what's crazy is like people did try to play this off like I had just started doing Lucha Libre, but again, I had lived in Mexico for 3 months. Like, Lucha Libre has been a part of my wrestling style for years and years, but I guess not having a ring to train in for so many years, you're going to play it safe if you're not able to practice new moves, especially like high-risk moves like Lucha Libre style. So I'm not trying to put myself in a risky situation where I could get injured or injure somebody else. So I'm going to do the moves that, I know that I can do safely and execute perfectly. Then I finally have a ring, to train in. So now I can try some new things. And that's why the style started to change. And these unknown lucha guys that you referenced were the guys I was training with here in Chicago. Some of them incredibly talented and just didn't know how to market themselves, didn't know how to get booked outside of the little Chicago Lucha Libre bubble. And I'm watching these guys train, Gringo Loco, Bandolero, Skyday Jr., and I'm thinking to myself, if the independent wrestling scene knew how good these guys were, they'd be booked all over the country. And I just wanted to help them out a little bit since I enjoyed training with them, and I thought the stuff we were doing could get some attention on the independent scene. So I helped him out with AIW, and Gringo Loco, the only one that really took advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to get their names out there and help those guys out.
So then we'll get to the story of you almost dying. So what is it? You're now just making your way down to Mexico a lot more with these guys, or just in general, or as a luchador?
Well, so that was towards the end of 2015 when I started training twice a week with Skyday and Discovery, and it did start getting me booked on more Lucha Libre shows down in Mexico and other parts of the United States where there are big Lucha Libre scenes, like Texas, for example.
Why does that get you booked more, though?
I'm not sure. Like, I think just because
word is out.
Yeah, I think in the lucha scene, like for example, there's a YouTube channel called Mas Lucha that has a huge following on YouTube, and they record a lot of the matches down in Mexico, and will post like highlights of all the matches, and it gets a lot of hits on YouTube. They started supporting my Lucha Libre adventures, and were posting highlights of my AIW matches, some of the galley matches I was doing with Skyday and those guys that I had mentioned already. And I think that's what was getting me attention from the Lucha Libre scene, was the stuff that was getting posted on Mas Lucha. People were like, "Oh wow, this guy's he's doing some stuff."
It's so funny that as Americans or whatever, we know about Joke and Senior Liriato.
Oh yeah,
or whatever. That's the stuff. I don't know if they post the right stuff or whatever, or Reddit, right?
Yeah,
but we don't there's stuff like that in Japan and Mexico. We just don't know what it is.
Exactly. They've got their versions of it,
right?
But I think that's what initially got my name out there in Mexico a little bit more. And then I did this really big random tournament at Arena Mexico last summer. Dude, it was just so weird. It was like me, Sabu, Jinder Mahal, Michael Elgin, Kushida, just a random assortment of different guys.
Well, who's booking you for that? Or is that still through TNA?
No, that was this company called Elite, which was affiliated with CMLL at the time. They had this badass TV deal on
Well, what do they reach out to you?
Yeah, they reached out to me.
Through how and why?
I think Extreme Tiger may have put in a word for me, but again, at that time, I was getting a lot of coverage on Mas Lucha, so that could have played a part in it as well. But yeah, that was like kind of like, I think the culmination of all the Lucha Libre training and everything was getting that match at Arena Mexico with Elite, and I just like left it all in the ring, just went out there and tried to kill it, and like connected with the crowd that night.
Who'd you wrestle?
I wrestled a guy named Hip Hop Man.
I love it. Holy fuck.
Yeah. So
I was so excited when you said, like, you slowed down. You're like, I wrestled, and I was like, what's he gonna say?
Yeah.
I need to know his name. First I thought it was Hip Hopopotamus or something. So, but even better.
Hip Hop Man.
Yeah, which is great. You should be tagging, I feel, as DJZ.
Why not? It's there.
Does he wear like a Hip Hop Man outfit? Please tell me what Hip Hop Man wears.
A do-rag.
Okay.
He wears a do-rag.
Is he Mexican?
No, he's from all right, I'm not sure. Some Latin American country.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one. And I remember initially feeling very disappointed when I saw that I was booked against Hip Hop Man. Because, like, everyone else has these badass matches. Like, I see, like, Kushida's wrestling this guy, and Sabu's wrestling this guy, Elgin's wrestling this guy, and everyone's got, like, somebody cool and somebody with some name value. And then I see my name next to Hip Hop Man. I'm like, just my luck. But it couldn't have worked out any better for me, because at the time, Mexico's soccer team had just played whatever country Hip Hop Man's from. They had just played that country's soccer team and lost. So Hip Hop Man came out to the ring wearing the soccer jersey of that other team and just got tons of heat from the crowd, which helped me out tremendously, because they didn't give a shit who came out, to face Hip Hop Man. They just want to see him get his ass kicked.
Here you were. You're representing Mexico.
And here I am. And kicked his ass, much to the delight of the crowd.
And like, did you do did you wrestle as an American, or did you put all the lucha stuff together?
Oh, bro, I went straight lucha.
Lucha'd out it, man.
Straight lucha, yeah. So it worked out great. And CML like offered me a job after that. I couldn't take advantage of it because I was contracted with Impact, obviously. But it was just, man, there was just a good feeling that night, So I felt like that was like the culmination of all the hard work I had put in with the lucha training. And then it started going downhill after that, and I started getting hurt. And I feel like, man, that was... I got hurt the first time in September of 2016, and here we are now. It's July 2017, and I'm like still injured, still catching up.
Yeah, but I mean, so your body exploded on this one show, right? Or do you not even want to talk about this?
Oh, we can talk about
Yeah.
that. I was even injured before that. I had to get surgery on my wrist. I got a screw in here now.
Oh, that's right. And you were wrestling with a cast.
Yeah, like I had never been injured in my entire career until the last few months. It was like I turned 30 years old and everything just went downhill. Like,
it's reality. What happened to your wrist?
I was being stupid as usual. I did a show for Galley. Oh, do you know the Taco Fest in Lincoln Park they do every summer? So I had just got back from Mexico and I had the weekend off. I just wanted to relax, and Gringo Loco was pushing me to come to Taco Fest and wrestle on the Galley show. There was like no pay, first of all. It was just like a show for the festival. And I'm sitting at home relaxing. I don't want to wrestle if I don't have to this weekend, but he's pushing for me. He's like, dude, Taco Fest is really cool. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. I know there's like no pay, but just take it easy. Like, it's going to be fun. Just trust me. So it was a mile from my house as well at the time.
I hate that you got hurt, I'm assuming, on Taco Fest.
Yes. But I'll tell you why I got hurt. I was thinking Fest show, there's going to be like nobody watching.
Yeah.
It's going to be just people walking by, just seeing some stupid wrestling in the ring and not really caring or paying attention or reacting to it. Bro, there was hundreds of people watching this. So, man, it was overwhelming. Like, I did not expect that at all. It was hundreds. I mean, it had to be 300-400 people, and everyone's drunk and loving it. But I'm building it up in my head like these people aren't wrestling fans. They're just like people at Taco Fest, don't know what wrestling is. They're going to watch some of this wrestling and think, this is fake, this is stupid. And, you know, they'll walk away from the experience like thinking wrestling's dumb.
You needed to defend the honor of professional wrestling.
That's how I felt.
On your own back. You took it.
Yeah, I really felt that way. I was watching some of the matches before mine were terrible as well. So I'm watching it going, oh my God, like I feel so embarrassed for pro wrestling right now because some of these people may have never seen wrestling before. This is their first impression, and they probably think it's stupid. So I went into the match with the mentality of, I'm going to give these people a show. I'm going to make sure none of these people walk away from this show thinking that wrestling's stupid. I want them all to leave saying, that was awesome. So I called all kinds of ridiculous spots. I'm calling dives into the street. I called me diving off of a semi-truck. He's rolling his eyes, by the way. To all of the listeners, my friend Colt Cabana.
Knowing that you're not getting paid, it's so funny.
Side-eyeing me, throwing so much shade.
I love it, though. I love it. I get it. And I get it, you know? Like, that's the sad part is that I get it.
And the thing about it, too, was you got to remember, I had never been injured in my entire career. So I'm calling all these crazy ideas, but I'm fearless about it because I've never felt a consequence from anything, you know? Like, I've never been hurt. I'm doing crazy dives all the time, and I'm always fine.
Right. The only consequence you have is owing your mother thousands of dollars for a plane ticket.
Yeah. But one spot that I called in that match, which is the spot that broke my wrist, I had this idea to go into the crowd, like into the sea of people in the street, and I wanted to just like chop each other back and forth because my vision was, dude, there's going to be people surrounding us like it's a real fight,
like Lionheart.
Yeah. They're going to have their phones out taking cell phone videos. Like, people are going to love it. And the chops, that sound, like, you can't fake that. You know what I'm saying? So I told Gringo Loco, like, I want to just chop the shit out of each other in the street in front of all these people, like right in their face. And we were on the corner of Milwaukee and something, and there's a stop sign on that corner. So I told him, I'm going to run at you. I want you to throw me over your head, and I'm going to go head first into the stop sign. I knew it was going to sound like a gunshot just because I was going to smack it as hard as I could when I hit it. And that happened. What I did not anticipate was that once I hit it, I would have to fall down to the ground, to the street below. And when I did that, I planted my wrist, and all my weight came down on my wrist, and I broke it in 2 places.
But then you continued to wrestle after with a brace on.
Oh, yeah.
Just the idea of like, this is what we're wrestlers, we have to, or I'm a wrestler, I have to, or I need to pay some bills, I have to.
All of the above. The best part about that was I broke my wrist, and the very next spot that I did in the match was jumping off of a semi-truck.
You still went away with it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I didn't know that my wrist was broken. I thought maybe I had just like jammed it, stoved it. I wrestled for another month with this wrist broken in 2 places, just wrapping it up with electrical tape and going hard for another month. And it was around Halloween, like well over a month later, that I finally decided I should get an x-ray, and my doctor was like, dude, you broke your wrist in 2 places. The only way you may ever get full range of motion is to do a surgery and put a screw in it. Like, and even then, there's no guarantee.
Because it was reforming back to, or because it's probably healing, right?
Well, the bone that I broke was the scaphoid, which is the most difficult bone in the human body to heal. So, just my luck.
All right, and so I mean, we're running here. So tell me about the time your body exploded.
Yeah, I did a match in Mexico City, the beginning of April, and yeah, what sucked about this too was I came back from the broken wrist in January, and I was just starting to like get back to where I was before the wrist injury, and then I got hurt in Mexico. But yeah, basically, man, what happened was I took a 450 splash in this match in Mexico City for the crash. And when the Laredo Kid landed on me with this 450, you might as well have dropped a bag of cement off the top rope. That's how hard this dude landed on me. And I thought maybe I broke a rib or something. Wind knocked out of me immediately. And I finished the match, knew something was wrong, but didn't know to what extent. After the match is over, I go to the locker room, and I'm trying to, like, catch my breath because the wind's still knocked out of me. And
now I'm going to stop because I've been to Mexico a couple of times. And I've been in Arena Monterrey, which is beautiful. It's essentially like the Rosemont Horizon or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've also been to some of the shittiest, grossest places that Mexico has ever had wrestling.
Yeah.
Where on the scale of this was this?
Oh, super nice arena.
Nice arena.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, this was the Crash's debut show in Mexico City. They were bringing out the big guns.
Okay,
man.
go on.
Like,
okay.
Nice arena. Anyway, I'm just laying down in the locker room, clutching my stomach, knowing something's very wrong. I was laying there for like almost an hour before somebody finally like asked me if I was okay.
Bien?
Yeah, todo bien. Ricky Marvin saw me turning pale and goes, bro, are you okay? And I had to be honest. You know, as wrestlers, we try to tough things out. This time I knew that I had to be real and just say, I'm not okay, dude. And he gets the paramedics. They take me into an ambulance.
So there's paramedics there.
Yeah, luckily, man.
But for an hour, you were like, nah, I'm not going to talk to them. I'll just sit down on this floor.
Because I wasn't sure to what extent, I was hurt. And
let's wait an hour and see if I go pale and die on this floor.
Right? You know me. But,
yeah, fair enough. Go on.
I end up in the ambulance, and that's where I recorded a now infamous video that I posted on Twitter, just letting the world know that I was going to the hospital because I was hurt, didn't know why. They take me to a hospital nearby, and they stick me with an IV with some pain medication, anti-nausea medication, and I actually feel better when they do this. I'm like, oh, I'm okay. And they're like, oh, yeah. They never ran any tests. They were just like, yeah, you're fine. You can go. So they release me, and I go back to my hotel, which was like a 30-minute drive. As I'm getting closer to the hotel, I start feeling weird again. And Ricky Marvin rode with me to the hotel, and when they dropped me off, he goes, you sure you're okay? And I tell him, yeah, I'm fine, man. He's like, bro, you look white as a ghost. And I tell him, I'm fine. I knew I wasn't, but that's what I told him. I walk into the hotel, and there was a bathroom in the lobby of this hotel. Walk in there, and as soon as I get in the lobby, throw my bags on the floor and go straight to that bathroom because I need to go. I need to use the bathroom. And I go, and I shit pure blood.
Oh.
And I know that's not normal. And my body temperature starts rising. I'm sweating profusely. And I'm just sitting on this toilet going, I know something is really, really wrong with me. And I finally try to walk out of the bathroom. And as I'm walking out of the bathroom, I grab the handle to open the door, and I just faint. Just faint, drop on the bathroom floor. I have no idea how much time passed, but eventually I woke up on the bathroom floor, my head throbbing because I smacked my head when I fell. Have no idea how much time passed, but I knew that I had fainted, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad.
Luckily you woke up.
Yeah. And I crawled out of the bathroom, and the hotel staff finally got me and called an ambulance. And the ambulance took 35 minutes to pick me up, yet the hospital was 1 mile away.
Jesus Christ.
I walked myself into the ambulance, laid myself down on the stretcher. They didn't even strap me in, so I'm just bumping on this ride for 1 mile. And I go into the hospital, and these people are like, we're not touching you until you pay us $500 right now. We're not running any tests. Wow, okay. So give them my credit card. This is how the debt that I had mentioned earlier starts to form. And that credit card was paid off, by the way. That's how responsible I'm getting over here, guys. I had paid that credit card off to zero. Anyway.
And you're so proud of it. I think I
so
remember
proud,
that,
bro.
yeah.
But $500. Okay, fine. Here's my credit card. They run a bunch of tests. They tell me, you're bleeding internally really bad. This is serious. Your colon appears to be ruptured. That's what's causing you to bleed internally. So what we're going to have to do, to save your life, that's how serious it was. What we're going to have to do to save your life is to cut open your abdomen, clean all of this internal bleeding, and then remove part of your colon and then resection your colon back together. 80% chance that we can do this and it'll be okay. 20% chance we can't do this and you're going to be rocking a shit bag for the rest of your life. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, okay. Well, let's do the surgery. Please save my life. And right before it's time for me to go into surgery, they hold me up for more money. They tell me we're not starting the surgery until you pay us $2,000 cash right here on the spot. And I'm in shock. I'm bleeding internally. Worst pain I've ever felt in my life, by the way. I have Gringo Loco there with me, and I hear this news about them saying they're not going to start the surgery. And I tell Gringo, will you tell them in Spanish what's more important to them, $2,000 or saving my life? He asks them. They don't even answer. They just look at the floor. And I'm like, so you're really just going to let me die here if I don't pay you $2,000?
The doctor, too, is looking at the
No,
floor?
he's not in the room. Okay. Conveniently, he's not in the room. So I'm like, wow, guys. Okay, well, here's my credit card again. Sure. And, they run the surgery. When they put me under for that anesthesia, bro, I've never been more terrified in my life.
Wow, right.
I didn't know. When I wake up from this surgery, I don't know if I'm going to be okay, if I'm going to have a shit bag, if my career is going to be over. I might be dead. Who knows? I had no idea. In the end, they removed 2 liters of blood from the internal bleeding. That's
just all around your body?
Yeah. I lost half the blood in my body.
Wow.
Yeah. So
is that why you were going white?
Yeah.
Because what? It wasn't getting to where it needed to go?
Maybe, but
There's two idiots talking doctor
come on,
stuff.
No, we don't know. But I lost 2 liters of blood, and they resectioned my colon, and I was told that it's going to be a long time before I'm able to wrestle again. But me, being the dummy that I am, I looked at that as a challenge.
Sure.
And I said, no, I'll be back in a wrestling ring in 8 weeks. Just watch. And it's been a really hard road ever since that injury. I think about it, and not only did I lose 2 liters of blood and part of my colon, I think about everything else I lost. I lost tons of bookings. I lost opportunities that I had outside of wrestling, which were going to be some good paying gigs. I lost over $10,000 easily from what I would have been making between wrestling bookings and whatnot. I lost my mind a little bit. So all these things that I lost, and I still had the goal in mind. 8 weeks, I will get back in a ring, right or wrong. And Super Indy that night that I saw you in Pittsburgh, that was my first match back from injury. And I did exactly what I said. I accomplished the goal 8 weeks later.
Did it feel all right?
I was terrified, man. I've been having panic attacks. I've never had a panic
from that match, or going into that match. You mean?
No, from
or afterwards.
Yeah, just the trauma of this injury and how much of a crazy situation it was. I've never had a panic attack in my life, and now I find that I'm getting them all the time.
Wait, you got it going into the match, or you still continue to?
I still continue.
What's the panic afterwards?
I feel like I'm dying because I'm so paranoid that I'm ruining something internally. Because basically, I was told if I get a hernia, I'm screwed. So that's So that's in my mind right now because
and that's a thing we can get in wrestling.
Oh yeah,
I feel right.
And because I'm not healed yet, I shouldn't be wrestling just yet.
Jesus Christ.
As we know. But the thing about it is when you make a living as a wrestler, if you ain't wrestling, you ain't making money. So I can sit here and let myself get broke, but hey, I got credit card debt to pay. Well, actually, I have my mom to pay. I've got bills to pay, rent to pay. I got to get back in there.
What was the last doctor you saw?
I saw a doctor in Pittsburgh maybe a month ago.
And what did that doctor say?
That I should start playing the lottery because I'm really lucky to be alive.
Well, what did they say about wrestling continuing further?
He told me August I should be good.
Okay.
But obviously he didn't know I'd already started wrestling.
Yeah.
He told me, if you get a hernia, you're screwed, but you should wait until August.
But let's say in August, after that, you're all right.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get a follow-up CT scan from him actually in 2 weeks. So I'll have a better idea of how much I'm healing up then. But everyone thought I was crazy for getting back in the ring so soon. And I know I am. But I look at myself as a true professional to where hey, this might be the situation, but if I'm truly a professional, I should be able to protect myself and work around the limitations and still have a good match. And the biggest compliment that I got that night at Super Indy in my return match was people telling me, if we didn't know you were already injured, we wouldn't be able to even tell.
It's like Truth Martini was wrestling for like 5 years with a broken neck, and
Yep.
he never once took a bump. When we talked about this on the first podcast we did, he didn't take a bump, and like people wouldn't have known unless you said like, "Hey, watch his match. He's not going to take a bump." And they'd be like, "Jesus."
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew that, and that actually crossed my mind too. I'm like, well, man, like I'm just gonna have to change the style up a little bit for now. And yeah, I didn't take a bump in that match I had with Adam Cole.
Well,
that night,
and Lucha is like based off of roles and shit, right?
So hey, that kind of works out, man. My Lucha Libre style works out pretty well for my situation. I just can't take any more 450 splashes, I guess.
Please don't, for the sanity of everybody.
Yeah,
Let's
but
keep you alive and well.
I know, but yeah, man. But the panic attacks like that night, and even before that, like, did you ever see Talladega Nights when like Ricky Bobby tries to come back to racing after he gets the car accident and he thinks he's on fire?
Yeah.
Like that's basically me after like every wrestling match now.
No.
But I'm getting better with it, man. Like got some medicine to help with it. So yeah, we should be good. Don't worry about me, guys. Come on, I'll be all right.
We're all worrying. All right. When we're sending best wishes, where do we send them to on social media?
On all social media, I am at DJZ. Finally got all the social media handles to match up.
Oh, nice.
I am DJZ. Instagram, that's what I use the most. Twitter, it's still there, but I'm not very interesting on Twitter at all. So follow me on Instagram instead.
And I mean, this is you're taking bookings.
I am. I'm just like kind of like testing the waters here and there. I think once I know what's up after that CT scan, I'll know when I can go like full on with a full schedule once again. But August is what I'm hoping for.
So how are you? What are we doing to subsidize all this money that you're not being able to make wrestling?
I'm getting by right now. The wrestling bookings that I had throughout June, I actually wrestled like 5 times in June, and made enough to like get by. In July, I've got enough bookings that I'll be okay. So don't worry about me, guys. We're gonna be okay. I'll get back on Impact Wrestling eventually and pay my mom back for helping me out with the credit card debt. And yeah, we'll be okay. I'm fine. I don't want people to remember me as the guy that's always like getting injured. I don't want these crazy injuries to define my wrestling career. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I don't know. I think the free-spirited craziness is what like the idea that like I think that's what I can sum you up. I don't know if it's a sum up, but the idea of like you wrestled after it.
Yeah, you're right.
Getting stuck in Japan.
Yeah, like free-spirited craziness. That would be a good way to describe it. Because when everybody was telling me like you're psychotic for jumping back in the ring 8 weeks after this, like I got off on that.
Right.
Like I love the idea that like everyone's watching me wrestle going, this dude is out of his mind, because I wasn't even taking it easy. I was still doing dives and like jumping over guardrails into the crowd after the surgery. And I love that. Like, I love the idea that everyone watching knows I shouldn't be in the ring. And instead of slowing down and taking it easy, I'm still wrestling as hard as I can and giving 100% every single time.
All right, the king of Taco Fest, DJZ. Thanks for being on, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man. He's going to be so pissed when I'm dressed up in that Bombfell. He's going to be jealous. Maybe he'll get onto bombfell.com/Colt, or he'll continue to spend $8,000 on his wardrobe. But he looks cool. 2 different people. I mean, he's one of these guys. Just spend it. Spend it. I'm the idiot who saves it. I'm going to regret it all when I'm 60 and still pocketing those pennies. All right. Great show. This guy's a warrior. He's crazy. He's a great, great crazy. Thanks for being on the show. Hey, let's get into some plugs and
Upcoming events.
All right, the best way that you can support ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW podcast, also /Colt Cabana. My storytelling podcast, Pro Wrestling Fringe, plus past archives of this show are ad-free and they're on howl.fm/Colt. Use that code COLT, get a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com is my very public email. Maybe you're a promoter, want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. YouTube, I got a YouTube channel. Also, ColtCabana.com is my website. That's where you can find my P.O. Box. You can send me some fun snail mail upcoming Saturday, July 15th, Marionette Park, Illinois, AAWrestling.com. Sunday, July 16th, Toronto, Canada, Smash-Wrestling.com. Saturday, July 22nd, Austin, Texas, WrestleCircus.com. Sunday, July 23rd, Gainesville, Florida, FestWrestling.com. Saturday, July 29th, Concord, North Carolina, doing commentary over at ROHWrestling.com. August 4th through the 27th, every single night, 10:20 p.m., the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, edfringe.com to grab you some tickets to those shows. I'm also doing wrestling shows while I'm there. Sunday, August 6th, Mintlaw, Aberdeenshire, Facebook /UPW online. Saturday, August 19th, reckless-intent.com. Sunday, August 20th, ROHWrestling.com. Saturday, August 26th, SWEonline.co.uk. Sunday, August 27th, InsaneWrestling.co.uk. Then I get back home Thursday, August 31st, Berwyn, Illinois, AAWrestling.com. Thursday, September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Facebook /First Wrestling. Friday, September 8th, Boise, Idaho. Marty Dross and I are doing comedy, unprofessional wrestling at 208comedyfest.com. Saturday, September 9th, Rahway, New Jersey, WrestleProOnline.com. That is the show for this week. Huge thank you to you guys at home for listening and telling friends. I super appreciate it. Thanks to DJZ for coming on the show. Thanks to Kid Guy Jeff and Stu Stone, Kid Russell, Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller and Creaky with some tech help always. Thanks our sponsors, highspots.com, a VOD service that is unbelievable. Watch your past PWGs right there. Also $5 wrestlings, AMA knee pads, gear, mask, a wrestling ring. That's at highspots.com, onehourtees.com. They help run ProWrestlingCrate.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. That's where you can support your favorite independent wrestler, including myself, and tweakedaudio.com/Colt. The earbuds that I use get over 30% off and free shipping just because you listen to this show, the show that is done. If you don't think I am jet lagged like a motherfucker, well, you are incorrect. Also, recently, while you're listening to this, I'm in Baltimore. I flew home from Wales. I flew to Baltimore to do some post-production for Ring of Honor. I'm flying home, doing some wrestling. Then I'm doing a secret show in New Orleans, which isn't even open to the public, which I'm not even telling you guys about. Then back to some more shows, and over to the Fringe for a month. I'm excited about the Fringe. I'm excited about all the shows. I'll see some of you there. Spread the word. Do me a favor. All right, this has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.
I hope I did better than the first time because I talked way too much the first time I was on your podcast.
Oh, good. So don't talk at all on this one.
I'm long-winded, man. That's my problem.
That's what I want, you to not talk at all.